What's good with y'all? So a few days ago, I low-key wanted to play Fallout 3 again. And at this point, it's like a ritual to have to play that game at least one time a year. So basically, it's just an excuse for me to play Fallout 3. I'm not just going to be playing it though. It is going to be a little twist. I haven't played the DLCs for like 5, 6, maybe 4 years. So I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I know what's going to happen in the DLCs, but they're not fresh in my mind. So what I want to do is I want to play through all of the DLCs and rank them for what I think is the worst to what I think is the best. And I'm also going to be playing these kind of in the order they came out with. I'm saving Broken Steel for the end because I feel like it's more fitting to do so. This is going to be pretty fun for me because I never really took my time with them to really see what I liked and disliked about each of the DLCs. So just get ready for a chill video of me going through my childhood games DLCs and ranking them. And I know it's kind of obvious. I don't know if I really have to say this, but spoiler alert, this game been out since 2008. It's been out for, it's 2025. It's been out for 17 years. So if you haven't played it by now, that's on you. But I gave you the spoiler alert. So yeah, man. So with that being said, we're going to get into the first DLC that came out, Fallout 3, Operation Anchorage. Operation Anchorage was the first DLC to come out for the game. You get a distress message from Outcast Brotherhood members asking for somebody in the wasteland to help them unlock an armory door that can only be accessed by completing a simulation. And you're one of the only ones that could do it because you have a pit boy.
No.
The simulation is basically training for the war, and it throws you into Alaska before the Great War, when America was fighting China to gain back the Alaskan territory. It strips you of all your weapons and armor, and they give you a 10mm pistol and a knife with some winterized combat armor, which I love, by the way. I love that armor. This DLC can be hard if you're playing on a hard difficulty because you have to heal yourself using one of these healing tanks right here. And you don't really know when you're going to see another one. And there are no other ways to heal. There are no stim packs. There's no food. It's none of that. It's only these healing tanks. If it's another thing that I don't know of, then let me know in the comments. But as far as I know, this is the only way you can heal yourself. Right? So got to use these. The first part is pretty cool to me. You're just with this dude going through Chinese forces territory. You can find a Gauss rifle. You can find a little sniper rifle, which I use mostly because, in my opinion, I think the Gauss rifle is trash. The first half of this DLC is definitely my favorite part because it's pretty straightforward. And you're not going back and forth between bases like in the next half. But we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. So out of 5, I'll give this part a 3.5. And just a heads up, this is going to be the only one I'm doing like half scoring for because the other DLCs, I just feel like this one is like divided into 2 parts. You have this first part and then you have the next part. So this is going to be the only one why I do that for. So I'm going to be combining those scores together and I'll be giving, you know what I'm saying, the true score at the end. So moving on to the second half, you go back to the base and they want you to go to 3 different places the Chinese army has taken over and they want you to take it back. They give you an option to choose different loadouts too for whatever type of combat you want to do, whether that be close quarters or long range. I tried the close quarters range gear and whew, I ain't gonna lie, the close range is trash because they give you a combat shotgun and they give you a 10mm pistol. The 10mm pistol is cool, I guess, but it doesn't really get the job done because most of these enemies are far away. And having a shotgun, especially, is not optimal at all. So after that, I switched to long range, which gives you an assault rifle. I don't know the other gear, but I just use the assault rifle like I always do. They also give you the option to have a team full of soldiers helping you go to these bases. You can get an infantryman, a grenadier, a Mr. Gusty, and you can get a sentry bot. I think it's one more thing, but I forgot. I think a sniper too. Yes, what you can get a sniper. And you got to choose wisely too, because you only get 5 markers and each soldier takes up a different amount of markers. So we'll have like an infantryman, they take 1, and like a sentry bot, for example, will take like 3 or 4. I don't know specific for the sentry bot, but I know it's 3 or 4. So I would just run it down the Chinese army with bro from the first half because you get him too. He's like your second in command of your team. So you run with him. I would just run it down with him. I have a grenadier and I have a sentry bot. And after you're done taking over those territories, you make your way to their main base, which is the last little part of this DLC. Once you make it, you have to deactivate a post field surrounding the base. And once you go inside, you're confronted by the Chinese army general. Now, you could take different approaches to this. You can either, 1, make him do something to himself through a speed check. I think you can infer what I'm trying to say when I say make him do something to himself. Or you can just kill him by getting into a gunfight with him. I usually just go with the speech check route, and after that your general comes up to you and he says it's all a simulation and go report back to your officer that you're done. So After that, you return to the real world. And after you get back, you can unlock the armory and find the equipment from the simulation in there, like the Gauss rifle and the T-51B armor. But I'm really sad that they didn't put the winterized combat armor in there. I don't know why they didn't do that. I love that armor, bro. I don't know why they didn't do that. But after that, that's basically the end of the DLC. Now, the DLC is decent. I'm going to give it that. But like I said earlier, going back and forth between bases, and I don't really, it's not really that enjoyable, man. The healing and the ammo replenishment system is pretty unique though, because they make you play different so you can conserve your health and your ammo, because you never know when you're going to find another station to, you know what I'm saying, get that ammo and get that health back. So I give that up, because I used to, when I was younger, I used to play that. I used to get annoyed by that, but now when I replayed it, I kind of come to appreciate that, because, you know what I'm saying, it's a little different. They make you play a little different in DLC because of that. But yeah, the DLC is all right though. It's not crazy good, but it's not bad. It's like a 6. That's the final score we're gonna give it a 6. It's mid. It's not bad, it's not good. Mid is not a bad word to say. It's a mid DLC. And the equipment you get after, you know what I'm saying, doing the simulation, it's all worth it. So that adds a little bit to it too. Yeah, but with that being out the way, let's move on to the Pit. The Pit was the second DLC to come out for Fallout 3, and it lets you explore post-war Pittsburgh. It starts by you once again getting a distress signal from a guy named Werner, who asks for help on freeing the slaves that are in the pit. You then meet up with him, and to get inside the area, you have to dress up as a slave. This is when the DLC starts. Now, some positives I like that about the DLC include the atmosphere, the way some of the people look who are diseased, the weapons, and really just the main story. It really just gives like a totally different vibe than the base game, because it's a red area, people are diseased. It's just cool, bro. Like, I really like it. It gives a totally different vibe. So after that, you go in and you're supposed to meet up with a woman named Medea. So she tells you what's going on and the plan that she has so you can free them and also find a cure for the disease that's going around. And it's called the Trog disease, and it turns people who are infected with it into Trogs, which are like humanoid creatures. Like, they don't have a mind, they just crazy, and they're just like a crazy animal, right? So after all that, you have to start the plan on getting the cure, and it's in the leader of the Raiders base. And the only way someone who isn't a Raider can reach him is by fighting and winning in an event called the Hole. Now, the Hole is basically like a gladiator coliseum where people fight to the death. So you already know that you have to complete this, because really nobody else can, and you just got the best chances of winning. So you go through 3 rounds of fighting, and after each fight, you have to report to this annoying ass lady. I don't like her, bro. And in one fight, you can also get this modified assault rifle called the Infiltrator. It's probably like one of my favorite guns in the game. Like, I'll say it's like top 5. It's one of my favorite guns in the game. So after that, you're done and you win all the fights. You can meet with the leader of the Raiders. His name is Asher. And this is where the story divides. So you can either, 1, side with the slaves and kill Asher, taking, you know what I'm saying, the cure, bringing it back to him and continue the story that way. Or 2, you can side with Asher and the Raiders, going against the slaves. It's pretty unique too, because you don't lose or gain karma from going with either side. It's just neutral, because they both sides have their own good and bad things going on. So it's just straight neutral. Now, I've only played this DLC twice, and this was the second time I played it. And I've never sided with the Raiders, so I don't really know what goes on in the story once you side with them. I'm just telling you what I did, and the story that I took. So what I can tell you is, you know what I'm saying, what I did. So I sided with the slaves, and what I do personally is I have a conversation with Asher. I don't know what the dialogue option is 100%, but whenever you pick that certain dialogue, whenever I pick that certain dialogue, him and every other single Raider in the area becomes hostile towards me. So once I kill them, I make my way to the cure. And this is where you find out that the cure is an infant baby. Now, the baby is the cure because infants are immune to this Trog disease. Now, I definitely miss why the infants are immune to the disease, but this is where also the bad karma, a little bit of the portion of the slaves siding with the slaves start, because you're taking Asher's baby. Like, this is his daughter, so you're killing him and taking his daughter to save the slaves. So this is a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, where the neutral comes in, because 1, you're freeing the slaves, but you're also taking somebody's daughter so you can help them out. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, 2 sides going at it. So after that, you bring the baby to Werner, and this is where the final part of the main quest starts. All right, so you have to turn off the lights surrounding around Haven, and Haven is the area that's surrounding the Raiders base. And you do this to bring the Trogs out to finish the rest of them. And once you do that, the main story of the DLC is done. They tell you thank you, and then they start working on the cure. They start trying to figure out what they can do to make this cure available to everybody that has the disease and to just prevent anybody else from getting the disease. Now, this DLC brings many different things to the game, like weapons, a neutral storyline, which is pretty cool to me. I know it's probably other storylines in the base game, but it's a pretty neutral storyline in my opinion, so I like it. And it also brings a unique setting. I really love the arena part. I really don't know why I just like fighting in games with that type of atmosphere. It's like you just being in an arena and you have an audience watching, you got announcers and you got everything, crowd cheering. This is pretty cool. So this DLC is pretty good in my opinion. So with a score out of 10, I'll give it a cool 7.5, maybe adjustable 8. Maybe an adjustable 8. It's definitely one of my favorites in the bunch. I really liked it, man. I really enjoyed the DLC. But with that being said, let's move on to Point Lookout. Point Lookout is the 4th DLC to come out, and it puts you in Maryland. It leads you to this boat near the Jefferson Memorial, and you meet this woman, asks you to go there and find her daughter. And this guy named Tober, more specifically Tober the ferryman, he's the captain of the boat or whatever, and he's the one who's going to take you there. But in order for you to do it, you have to buy this ticket off of him. It's kind of stupid to me that you have to buy a ticket on him to get there, but hey, I don't even know. It might be another way to get on there, but I don't really like that. It's like 400 caps to get there. I don't really like that at all. But after that, you're on your way to Point Lookout. And unlike the other DLCs, this one lets you explore a pretty decent sized map. It has new weapons like the double barrel shotgun, new enemies like these pretty swamp people, and chill little side quests to do. Now, the main story involves this guy, a mean ass ghoul named Desmond, going against a tribal group. When you first enter the mansion Desmond is in, you get involved in a fight between the two sides. Now, I really like this part because they added really cool animations when you're fighting these tribal people. And one of them is like the tribal person running through boarded walls, and you even fall through the floor. And nothing else in the game does this. Like, I've never seen that animation where they run through the wall. Maybe something else does that in the game, but I've never seen that before. So it's pretty unique to me in this DLC. And after this, after you're done fighting them and you kill all the tribal people, Desmond wants you to go to their base, and he wants you to be like a spy to get some type of information on what their leader's doing, who their leader is, and where he's located. And once you get there, they want you to eat or drink, I ain't gonna lie, I forgot, a certain fruit deep in the swamp. And when you eat it or drink it, you basically get high. It's like a psychedelic. And you see old memories of your character. You're walking on top of the sky, and you see the floor at the bottom. It's just really trippy. And I never really peeped it being that trippy until now. And that makes me low-key miss being an innocent kid. But I never really peeped that until now. So when all that is done, your character falls asleep. And when you wake up, you don't wake up normally. You have a scar on your head because somebody took a piece of your brain. So now you also got to figure out who's doing this. So right here, you're supposed to go back and report to the tribe that you did the ritual. But not me. After this, I decided to do some exploring. I didn't record this footage. It's a lot of footage I didn't record. So I didn't record this footage of me exploring. I wish I did. So in later videos, I got y'all. I'm going to record literally everything I do. But I just walked around trying to discover as many locations as I can. Because me personally, I like filling up my map. I think, I don't know, it just looks cool to me if I fill up my map with as many locations as I can. So I fought a lot of swamp folk. I fought ghouls. Those ghouls was annoying. I fought ghouls. I fought random regular people just living in the swamp. And the exploration in this map, it is good to me. I really appreciate how, you know what I'm saying, they did this with this DLC. It's pretty cool, bro. But going back to the main story, when you go back to the tribal's place, they welcome us in. And here, you find a lady from Earlier's daughter, and her name is Nadine. And when you talk to her, she takes a scar off of you, and she talks about her not really wanting to go back because she just out there soul searching. And I really feel that. I really like that part. You then meet their leader, and it's just a brain who was a longtime rival of Desmond. And long story short, you can either choose between the side of Desmond or the side of the brain. And there's really no right or wrong because the brain is basically evil, but Desmond he's an asshole, so you can really do whatever you want. I decided to side with Desmond. I really don't know why. I really don't like either. Once you find out all this information, you report back to Desmond, but before you go into the mansion, it blows up. I don't have this footage either. I'm sorry. But the mansion like blows all the way up. But Desmond is okay. And now he knows that the brain is located in the lighthouse behind the mansion. So he's been like underground, really below him this whole time. So you and him go to confront the brain and kill it. Well, that's what I did anyway. You could really just kill either one of them or both if that's what you want to do. That's what I should have did. But you could do that at the end if you want to. After that, that's really the end of the main story. And when you go back to the boat, you'll find Nadine depending on what side you picked. And she'll tell you that Tobar, the guy that took you here, was the one taking people's brains. And after that, I guess your character gets mad and you want to confront him and kill him. So that's rightfully so. That's real. The DLC is pretty fire to me from some of the weapons you get, and I'm not gonna lie, that double barrel shotgun is trash. I thought it was good when I first used to play this DLC and when I first started using it, kind of this time, but as time went on, that shotgun is trash, man. But some of the weapons you get, some unique side quests are pretty cool, and the enemies are pretty cool as well. They added some really cool different enemies, really to swamp people. I would give this DLC a solid, it's going to be the same as the Pitt, man. Solid 7.5, adjustable 8. It does some things different that the rest of the matter of fact, I'll give it an 8 because it's a big map. I can't really give it the same as the Pitt, but I'm going to give it an 8. It does some things different, you know what I'm saying, that the rest of the DLCs don't do. But now, let's move on to my younger self's favorite DLC, Mothership Zeta. Mothership Zeta was the 5th and final DLC of Fallout 3. You started by once again, say it with me y'all, you get a distress signal and it leads you to an alien crash in a random part north of the map. When you approach it, you get abducted by aliens and you wake up for a second after that and you see aliens doing some type of procedure on you and then you fall back asleep. So sometime later you wake back up in the holding area with the woman named Soma. You both end up plotting something to get out, like you hitting each other and then aliens come and then they all turn on the aliens and you know what I'm saying. So after that you get out and it works, obviously. And then when you both get out, you save a younger girl named Sally from her holding area. And she plays a major part in this DLC because she helps you get through doors you won't be able to pass without someone her size going through vents and open up the doors from the other side. And she also knows the whole ship like the back of her hand. And after that, she tells you about an area where it's other people who are cryogenically frozen. But before we get to the rest of the story, I want to talk about the different weapons you get from the DLC. Now, these are probably some of the best weapons in the game and the coolest looking too, with the alien disintegrator probably being my favorite from the whole DLC. Like the vibe of it, and I'm just talking about the DLC, I'm not talking about the weapons really no more, but the vibe of the DLC is just cool to me. Like just being on the alien ship, finding your way through waves of little green aliens, it's something different from the rest of the game. And you know what I'm saying, nothing else in the game really gets to that. But going back to the main story, once you make it there, you meet a guy named Paulson, a dude named Toshiro, and a guy named Elliot. And all three being from different times on planet Earth. There's also a fourth person, and he was an astronaut, but he didn't survive. So you have to take his suit because later you're gonna have to do a spacewalk. After that, you have to destroy generators from 3 different places on the ship. It's kind of tedious, but I was chilling doing it. I've done it like 5 times, so it's really tedious to me now, but I was chilling doing it. Every time I do it, it's pretty cool. And the one that had me stuck for a little minute was the one in the robot assembly because I forgot that you have to blow up the assembly line to get through it and get to the generator. But anyway, after you're done doing that, you now have to complete the spacewalk. Now this is probably my favorite part of the DLC because I love outer space a lot. So being able to do a spacewalk is pretty fire to me. You then start making your way to the captain's room, but it's not that simple. You have to go through waves of aliens and these also freaky looking humanoid creatures who probably look this way because they were experimented on. So yeah, bro, when you finish them, you finally get to the captain's room. And now you have to kill all of the aliens in the room because what, they finna be cool with you? Yeah, you gotta kill them all in the room. And now you're probably thinking, that's it. I'm done with the DLC. I got all the aliens. We the captain of the ship. Let's go. But if you're thinking that, you're 100% wrong. There turns out to be another ship that's controlled by aliens. And now you have to go in a UFO versus UFO battle, going back and forth shooting death beams at each other. It's not really that hard. You get the upper hand. So once you're done doing that, you're finally done with the DLC. The people who are with you through the way stay on the ship and they do some things for you. Sally gives you ammo when you come back to visit. Elliot gives you an enhanced version of healing items that the aliens use. And you also have the best repair person in the game on the ship, that being Soma. She has a repair skill of 100. I've also been trying to find her ever since I left the ship to go back to repair my stuff, but I don't know what happened to her. I can't find her. Maybe when you leave the ship, she leaves. So I hope I'm not giving y'all misinformation because she is the best repair person in the game, but I don't remember her not staying when I played it again. But this time she's gone. Maybe when I look back later, I'll see. But yeah, she's gone. I don't know what happened to her. Like I said earlier though, this is my favorite DLC when I was a kid, and I'm here to say it right now. Give me a drum roll, please. Give me a drum roll, y'all. I'm gonna say it. I'm here to say that it's still my favorite DLC. And it's kind of biased though, just because I love outer space stuff. The weapons are also my favorites in the game. And what other game can you say that you took over and you're not a captain of a UFO? You could probably say that about another game. I'm just admitting it so nobody gets on me in the comments for being like, you can do that in, I don't know what Dead Space does in the end, but you could do that in Dead Space. I know, I get it, bro, I get it. But with that being said, I'm going to give this beautiful DLC a 9 out of 10. I love Mothership Zeta. And here's a fun fact, even though it was the last DLC to come out, it was the first one I played, so it holds a special place in my heart. Now, let's move on to the last DLC. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, man. It's a spoiler alert. I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds, man. If you don't want to hear what I have to say about this DLC, I'm gonna give you a few seconds. You might want to skip ahead, like I give you like 20, 30 seconds. I really don't know. This is probably my least favorite DLC in the game. I ain't gonna lie, man. It is. And that DLC is Broken Steel. Let's get to it. We finally have come to Broken Steel, third DLC to come out for Fallout 3, and the last DLC that I'm talking about in this video. This DLC alters the ending of the game by having the Lone Wanderer survive the ending of the base game, with you waking up 2 weeks after the events of Project Purity. You wake up at the Citadel, and you find out that Sarah Lyons is also in a coma from the radiation of the reactor. But if you had her go in instead of yourself, like she punched in the code, she's not going to be in a coma, she's going to be dead. So when you leave, you'll see the wasteland has changed a little. They're now producing fresh water for people to drink, and it's branded as Aqua Pure. You can see it at the Jefferson Memorial, you can see it inside of the Citadel, and you get to see it in random places around the wasteland. For the main story of this DLC though, you have to go with the Brotherhood and fire off the rest of the Enclave that's inside of DC. You go with Liberty Prime on the first mission, and he's going crazy, like he's getting everybody out the way. Until he hits a wall, and then it's like 30 missiles drop down on him, and then he gets destroyed. So now the Brotherhood is in shambles now, because they don't have their big advantage. So, do you know what they do next? Can you guess what they do next, man? I'm giving you a little time. I'll give you like 5 seconds. Can you really guess what they do next? Okay, man, time up. If you guess that you have to do literally all the work with little to no help, then you guess right. And that is very crazy to me. Especially through the last stretch of this DLC. It was literally just me and Fox running inside the Enclave's base so we can blow it up. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go inside their base. They're telling you to go inside their base and then get to the main control center, and so you can use their orbital missiles that they used on my boy Liberty Prime and use it on themselves, because they were supposed to use it to destroy the Citadel, if I'm not mistaken. So they want you to go in there, get on the computer, and then blow the Enclave base up. And when you do that, it's no help from anybody. And then when you finish the job, as soon as you punch the code in and get on top of the roof, that's when they come flying in and good job, soldier. Like, come on, bro. Are you serious, bro? Are you serious? That part is stupid to me. But maybe you can't ask for the Brotherhood's help, and I just missed it. But if you can't, that part makes zero sense to me, because they want you to do it all by yourself. You're not even really part of the Brotherhood for real, but they want you to do their work. But there's also another part of this DLC that's actually good, and it's probably my favorite. And you probably already know, the DLC makes the level count go up to 30. And you get a lot of new perks too. Some of these perks include puppies. It's a perk that gives you a puppy of dog meat just in case dog meat dies. And I actually use this in this playthrough for the first time, because dog meat dies very easily. Maybe I'm tripping, and maybe I just play differently now than I did like when I was a kid up until like a late teenager, because it started happening recently. Like when I play now, dog meat dies very easy. Now I have to always load my saves up. But when he died this time, I was like, man, he just gonna die, bro. Because he was dying too much, bro. I don't know what happened, bro. He used to be like invincible. I don't know literally what happened to him. Anyway, they also have perks like Almost Perfect, which you get at level 30 to raise all your special points to 9 if they're not already at 9 or 10. And they also add something called Nuclear Anomaly. And it activates when you get to around 20 HP. And once that happens, your body like blows up into a nuke. You don't die, but it affects all the enemies that are surrounding you. It's a pretty trash perk. It's just pretty cool that your body like makes like a nuke out of itself. It's pretty cool, but it's kind of dumb because it really don't do nothing. I've seen what it does. It doesn't do anything. There's more too, but I just named a few that I think are, you know, my kind of favorites. Even though Nuclear Anomaly is trash, I just wanted to add that because it's so different from the rest of the perks in the game. It's like weird. It's a weird perk. But yeah, like I said earlier, I don't really like the main story that much, but I like the level cap increase, and I also like the perks they add. And I also like this Tesla cannon. This is one, I don't know if they added any other weapons. I'm not finna look it up. This is the only one I saw. The Tesla cannon is crazy. It's like a one shot. So I like that weapon too. So that's another thing that I like about this DLC. So now that I'm thinking, I was gonna give it a 6. But now, since I thought about the Tesla cannon, I'm gonna give this DLC a still my least favorite. But I'm gonna give it a 6.5 just because that one shot Tesla cannon. I like that weapon. That's a good weapon. So yeah, man. I'm gonna give it this DLC a 6.5. It's my least favorite, but it's still cool because of the stuff they add. And the main quest ain't that bad, but it doesn't make sense to me. It just really doesn't make sense. Now, this is the last stretch of the video. So if you want me to rank them all again, I'm gonna go from my least favorite to my most favorite. For my least, we got Broken Steel. Second, we got Operation Anchorage. Third, it's the Trog infested pit. Fourth, we have the swampland of Point Lookout. And for my favorite, the fifth, the most amazing DLC in this game, in my opinion, we got Mothership Zeta. Now that's just my list. I know some people might disagree with my ranking, but please just don't judge it, man. If you had a different opinion, I would respect it because we all like the same game or love this game at the end of the day. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Just Fallout 3. So please don't get on my case for my ranking. And I would love for you to, if you want to, comment your list. What do you think is the best DLCs and the worst DLCs down below? I'm going to read it. I'm very curious and I would love to see y'all, you know what I'm saying, opinions on that. So sadly, boys and girls, for the 2 women that watch me, that's the end of the video. This is probably my favorite video I ever made. Like, this is one for the Raptors. Like, I really enjoyed making this, and I hope y'all enjoyed watching this as much as I made it. So if you got to the end of the video, I really love and appreciate that, like, very much. Like, I really appreciate that. I really did this. So yeah, man, everybody, I want y'all to stay positive, have a good day, put that good energy into the air, bro, and be smooth, man. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Peace.